GL codes under truck repair and equipment. I'm gonna run out of funds pretty soon, and it goes back to that street sweeper giving us so much problem. I'm gonna be out of funds, so rather than wait till the very end, I'll let y'all know in case we need to put some money in that account. That's the only thing that major. I've been working with Ms. Julie, trying to get my line items straight because it was messed up years ago, slots where different people is. So I'm working with her, working with Ms. Chantel. She's, you know, I'm always asking questions, and I thank them all the time because when I call, I say, hey, do you have time to meet with me for a little minute? So everybody's been helping me out because, again, I don't know everything. And other than that, equipment-wise, I think I have one more that's kind of on the blink. Sweeper, grappler bucket. Everything's running. We just got a little bit of old equipment that we have to, tend to down the line. But other than that, and my last thing while I'm here, I was waiting for Mr. Weirich to be here because he was out a couple of months. He was sick, but I just want to say thank you. Mr. Weirich popped up one day and called me and said, hey, y'all at work? Oh, yeah, I'm here. I'm bringing you guys something just to say thank you. So he comes and he brings us breakfast, donuts. And it wasn't what he did, it was just the thought of doing something for the guys, and they appreciated it. So I just wanted to say thank you in person. And then on the other hand, I've been around there cleaning up at the shop, trying to, update everything, and we've been doing it. So we had a sign donated. I sent some of y'all the picture. I think I sent all of y'all the pictures. My new slogan. If anybody knows me, I have slogans. So Street Designs got word that we was over there trying to clean up and asked, well, what, you need any help with anything? I was like, how about you make me a sign? And so I got it in today, but the sign says, let's take pride in our work. And then I got it right there. It's just like, it's a lot of work, it's a lot to do, but if we just take pride in it, hopefully it'll catch on and we'll continue going down this road. But again, it goes back to y'all. Y'all seem to be working well together. Anything I usually ask for, to try to help me out with, to be information. Mr. Cole, I got you welding for us. It's just different things. And really, it's tough being out there because there's a lot of stuff that needs to get done. But as long as you know where you can relay it to your people, that we're trying our best. And then eventually one day, I don't know when that day will come, but we'll all be proud of what we do. So, any questions?
Wes, would you tell the story about Avenue G, the work that you did with the speed limit signs? That was last Friday, so that it goes out public and people know what we did?
Well, we did Avenue G, Miss Marks wanted a speed limit sign, so people starting to speed down them avenues that has less stop signs down. So Avenue G was a concern. So we went out and put the 30-mile-per-hour signs up and down from Hutchinson all the way to all the way to Park Street.
In Ward 1, they had one, now they have two. Now in Ward 2, from Northern to Hutchinson, there are four. Yeah. And a lot of people, when we did the survey, did not know what the speed limit was on Avenue G. A lot of them guessed at 25, 35. It's 30. So now, yep, it's 30 miles an hour. And there were none in Ward 2. Now we're covered. We're asking people to be careful when they go through the area between 9th and 10th where the emergency vehicles have to sometime leave. So.
Yes. Also, we had another one today that came out, or was it yesterday? But now, citizens are starting to pay attention to what's going on. Now they gave us a call. It was the same problem on Avenue I going down to Oddfellows. So we started on that, but I ran out of signs, so I got to buy some more signs. But yes.
All right, we got, who goes first?
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Wes,
First of all, you like slogans? I'm gonna give you one. What is understood never have to be explained. Okay, hold on to that. Okay, you guys were cutting the road. Cutting down Parkinson. And Jeff, you probably gonna remember this. DOTD, I don't know if they were doing some work on trees or whatever. Because I had a phone call. They don't want no one obstructing, because that's a state highway. Okay? Whoever was cutting the grass in the truck, or whoever driving, he had himself parked right across from Tobacco Plus. In other words, he was in the road. He had his flashes on, okay? But you know how people get. They going down the road and they had to stop, you understand? And then they got bottleneck right there. So I was thinking maybe have them park maybe on parking lots or what have you while they're doing it. That's a safety thing.
I got you. Now, I don't know when this happened. Now, the only thing I remember when we did lights, Christmas lights, we had to put a truck on the road because we had the bucket truck. But as far as cutting, I don't know of a truck that usually stops on the road.
Yeah, you had one. It was a Crowley truck.
This is recently?
Yeah, it was, I think, the other day.
They cut yesterday. All right. That's not normal, so I'll find out what happened.
That's a safety hazard. That's a state highway.
They may have been picking up some trash or picking up something there, but normally
they were cutting.
Normally they do park in the parking lots and.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Get off the road.
Was it the day that the lawnmower had a flat?
I'm not sure.
Check on that, because one of your mowers had a flat and the truck pulled up to help.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a reason that happened because they don't normally do that.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
People were
Yeah,
cussing and acting a fool.
That's not something that's normal, so that's why I say, so that makes.
I'm telling you they were cutting up. Told me to go do
That's
your
normal.
damn job.
Yeah.
The people cutting up is normal.
Session, before you speak, let me just say, I talked to you already. So you're gonna meet me?
Yes,
and
that's.
we're gonna go by Rice Capital?
Absolutely.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. So Rice Capital Parkway. The other thing, Chad and I kind of spoke briefly. Thank you. It looks like some of the new street signs are being installed. And so they look great. There are a couple of places that I've seen, and it's because of the mechanism that they're installed on. So they're sort of wompy jawed. So I can't reach it to straighten it. So you don't want me on a ladder over there.
I have an employee, she's doing the flower beds, but in the cold weathers, I had her go around, Brent had her go around and find out what street signs we're missing, stop signs, any signs, make a list, and then we went upstairs and she went through the list and see what we had, what we need to order. And at the end of the day, she came out with this typed up book and everything.
A book.
Yeah.
I have that document, and I want to remind me the next few days. I want to send that to the council so that they can see the work that they've done, that y'all have done, on getting an inventory of street signs. And we're not talking about just the street names, because that project was started a few years back and it hasn't been completed, but we're talking about stop signs and speed limit signs, and I saw there was one that she had a note that the grass needed to be weed eated around the stop sign. And so she put notes next to each sign that needed attention. It may have been leaning, it may have been faded, it may have been dirty, whatever, and she would put a note next to that. I want to send you all that document because they've done some work on that stuff. Look, there's a lot of detail that the street department takes care of, and they are absolutely doing a fantastic job. I can't speak highly enough of all of the employees in our city, but we're talking about the street department right now, and those men and lady, there's a lady on the crew, and those men got to watch out because she'll run over them, but she don't slow down. But they've been doing a phenomenal job, and there's a lot to do with a few hands to do it. So sometimes it takes a little while to get to some of the details, but they certainly are doing a great job. So go visit with them sometimes. You'll
Absolutely.
You'll be
And-
happy about that.
And we appreciate it.
You remember, doing Main Street when we bought that sign-making machine?
Yeah, they
Yeah, Rita, when, Rita
yeah.
was.
Yeah, they had a machine, but I think
That
that
is
machine they got rid of.
Antique. That don't work. That's been gone.
It got to a point where nobody knew how to work it anymore because of change of hands, and then they got rid of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Well,
It would
maybe
make
we need to
signs.
look into getting us another one. If you want to be changing signs, those signs
Yeah.
cost, man.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
not
they
cheap.
cost a
You're
lot.
right.
Okay, thank you. All right,
All right, yep.
good job.
I'm gonna say one thing on that. If you get a sign, please get me somebody to work it, because I don't have the person to spare to sit there and make signs.
Oh, I got you, man, I got you.
I'm not waiting
Yeah.
y'all for anything right now, but down the line, I'm coming after y'all. My last name is Proctor. I got on that flower bed on Hutchinson today to make sure no plants was in the way, so we're gonna be at the next project concrete-wise. I don't forget. All right, thank y'all again.
Thank you. Okay, Wesley, before you leave, I want to thank you, and I've told you before, the people of the city of Crowley and other places see you guys. Y'all are the face of the city, and we're all proud of you because you're doing a good job. Not that there wasn't a good job before, but it kind of had a little lull in it for a while, and it's back up again. So thank you again, and with that, if you're finished, I will close.
Closed again. All right, Mr. Martin. We're not gonna stop you this time.
Man, you got
It's your show now.
You got my jaw hurting, man. All right, I'm gonna try and get this. Okay, we'll open up utility committee. We got a quorum. Okay, we're gonna do our reports. The first, Tim Crater, wastewater. It's your show, buddy.
Bang, bounces. All right, we've had, since the last time I was here, we've had 93 Louisiana one-call locate ticket requests. We had 18 work orders filed in our department. We addressed some issues with management in the Shady Oaks subdivision. We're hoping that word passes along through those residents there. Maybe they could help us. We did go to each one of the city cleanouts, inspect them. We did add some grease remover in the ones that were holding to eliminate those. We seem to think that that worked. We did add a different material or chemical in the ones that didn't have any to prevent buildup. Probably last 30 to 60 days. We're still judging to see how long it's going to take. We had a pump that went down at the main pump station a couple of weeks ago. When we did the inspection, the wiring itself was damaged by rodents or whatever else was in there. It was removed. We've sent it to the shop. I'm waiting to hear back to see what the status of that pump is. We know we had to change the cord. We don't know if there was any internal damage done, being the wiring was exposed to the water. We had a pump removed at Oddfellows. It was cleared of the stoppage, inspected, that was put back in the hole. With the TV people here and the cleaning crew, mid-January, they did some inspection on a main line that was reported that residents had some issues with backing up during rain events. We did the inspection. There were 2 root balls in that line that were removed. What they do, they'll send the camera in one side, the cutter in the other side, and they'll get to cutting. The reason they keep the camera in is in case they have a cross bore through there with a gas line or fiber optic. So they were able to successfully remove 2 of those. We hadn't had a substantial rain, what we call substantial anyway, since then. So we're monitoring that. We hadn't had any reported issues from that area. So hopefully, that cleared that up. Other than that, that's all I really have.
Tim, we still have a
Entertain
camera
questions.
truck? We still have a camera truck?
No, the city doesn't have a camera truck. We have a little push camera that.
I think he's saying
No, a
Camel,
the
the
camel
guzzler,
truck.
the
Oh,
guzzler.
Yeah, VACCon truck, yes, sir.
Yeah, you
Yes,
still have
camel
one.
truck, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions? All right. Tim.
Sorry about that. That's it. Thank you.
Nobody? Thank you, man.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to the other Tim. City engineer, Tim Mader.
Mr. Martin, real quick before, I'd like to just ask that you all keep Mr. Crater and his family in your prayers. He recently lost his dad, Mr. Gerald Crater. So just keep them in your prayers.
God bless you and your family, Tim. Yeah. Okay, Tim?
Yeah, no action items, and you have my updates, and I'm available to expound on any of them at any time.
Okay,
That's my
Tim,
report.
I don't know if you're leaving early, but if you could hang around, I need to talk to you about something. Okay, thank you. Okay, under action items, we have none in discussion. I don't know if y'all had a chance to drive around your district. I was telling Byron, we got more lights out in Ward 3 than you can imagine. Jeff, I know y'all travel in the police cars, and just on one street between Avenue A and Avenue B on 4th Street, there's only the little dim lights, and I don't know why Clico don't put the high candlelight lights out there. They still have the old lights, what they call them, like the cream color lights or what have you, and there's no obvious from them. Yeah, okay, those things are illegal anyway. Here they are. Well, that's what I'm saying. So what I would like to do, and Chief, maybe we can get together one night and Byron, and we ride the district, because I mean, that's a safety hazard right there. So that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. So we can do it as a council, just to ride and see.
Step, can I say something?
Yeah.
If you give a list to Clico of
Yeah.
any of this stuff, they'll come change the entire fixture if you want them to. I've done it before. And,
Sabrina?
what's that? Willie.
Okay,
Talking about the
Mr. Byron, I'll offer that if you get a list together, just write down a list of
Right.
where they at and give them to me, and I can send them to my contact with Clico, Mr. Willie Badgerall.
Yeah, Willie,
And he's
yeah.
usually pretty good about that stuff. What they're doing is, or what they've done in the recent past, is any street light that is burnt, that
Yeah,
is
they put a
out,
new
and
one.
it's the old type of street light, they replace it with an LED light. And so, as they changing out the burnt ones, the old ones, they replace them with LEDs.
Yeah, one other thing, one other spot, turning off of Hutchinson and heading, once you cross the track, heading to Westwood, when you get in that curve, it's black. I mean, I don't know, we need to do something with that real quick, because that area right there, you got people coming out of Westwood, and some of them are, well, you know how some people drive, not me included, but, you got to put your brights on, and they putting their brights on, and next thing you know, you're running in. Now, Chief, I don't know if it was y'all or the city, but somebody, I think they adjust that light on Western and Ninth
Nope,
Street.
that was Clico.
That was Clico?
You asked me about that, and I
Right.
let Willie know, and they should have gone out. Did they go
Well,
out there?
yeah,
and
they did.
adjust? Okay,
Okay, so it was one of their lights.
yes.
Well, they need to put them
It-
lights.
Well, so it is a light from Clico, but it is a private light.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's
yeah.
for the home,
Yeah, the
they
homeowner.
pay a fee every month for that
Right,
light to
right,
be
right.
there, yes.
Okay. Huh.
I need to ask a question. It's really a question for the chief. In years gone by, if the police during their patrol would
Yeah.
see a light out, they would put it down, and even if they just write it down and give it to us or the mayor, they don't have to call Clico, but they're out there all during the night, and I'm not. And it's like, sometimes like around the court circle, there's about 3 of those lights burnt now. And when I see them, I'm like, okay, I have to remember, and then I forget, you know? But
Yeah.
that would help us a
Yeah,
lot.
if anybody wants to just jot a list of them down when you see them, bring me the list, and I'll be happy to turn the whole list in.
And I think Clico likes it when you have quite a bit of them instead of coming for one light. 'Cause
Sure,
they don't-
right.
No one lives around here anymore that
Sure.
service that.
And Jeff, you remember when they were supposed to put out the non-shadowed lights, bulletproof lights?
I remember them talking about it.
Yeah, well, they were doing it for a while.
Yeah.
In the high crime areas.
You need one, you
put-
need what?
Huh?
You need a bulletproof
Yeah,
light?
look, we need them all over the city, man. It's getting crazy.
We'll tell them to get one.
There you go.
And
Man,
step
don't make me
one-
laugh, bro.
Step, I wanted to mention that Clico's kind of specific on the
sorry.
locations of the lights. They want you to basically indicate which corner, like northeast
Right,
corner of
right.
the intersection. So when you make a list, if you just put the street or the intersection, they're gonna wanna know in detail, because I've submitted numerous to
Yeah.
Clico.
Well, me and Willie and Sabrina and Katie, I tell you, I mean, we get
And actually,
together.
there's another individual, I've got his email address that I've sent him to directly.
All
And he
right,
puts
sounds
out the
good.
work orders.
Right, well, me and Bob, we'll get
But
together.
I'll share
and
that
ride and do
information with you, and I'll give
Okay.
you a template of what I use to send with the
Yeah, if you
information.
can email me that, either way. All
I
right,
sure will.
thank you. Anything else to come before?
So, Step. I didn't-
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry,
something that goes without saying, those people aren't here during the nighttime, they're here in the daytime, so
Right.
they don't know if those lights are out unless we let them know.
Right.
And the other thing that we were just going to mention is that you see within the city that they've been doing some tree trimming.
Yeah.
And that happens in order to keep the system reliable. It's not always pretty, but with
Talking about the
this-
apricots?
the ice and the snow that we had,
Right.
if those limbs had gotten on the wires, there would have been some power outages. So
Yeah.
just know,
Yeah, I'm sure we've all been getting quite a bit of phone calls about the trees
Yeah.
and the way they're cutting some trees. They seem to be cutting them quite a bit more than they have in the past years. And some of them, we've had some citizens call them to come back and just finish cutting the tree to the ground.
Right.
And they've done that. I spoke with Clico, and the Public Service Commission is really strict on them right now and requiring them to have a reliable
Contract.
grid. And I'll tell you that that's, within 10 feet of those power lines, they're cutting trees. All the way, 10 feet, all the way around those power lines. There is nothing that I, as the mayor of the city of Crowley, can do to stop Clico from cutting those trees
the right of way?
that are 10 foot around their lines. I can't stop them from doing it. There's laws, there's rules, there's regulations that they follow statewide that allows them to do that. I agree, some of those trees are murdered. They have really butchered a lot of them, but that is, you're gonna have electricity, more reliable electricity. I'll tell you that during the snow, those big oak trees on West Northern were touching the top of my vehicle, the SUV that I drive throughout the city. Those trees were touching the top of that SUV. So when those branches get heavy, even in rain, those oak trees, those branches get heavy. And they would be laying down on those wires, and they'll break the wires, and then we're out of electricity, but we got a pretty tree. So Clico has been doing it. That is not the city that's trimming those trees. It is Clico. Actually, Clico has hired, it's a third-party company, a contractor that Clico hires to do it.
Yeah, it is one. Right. Yeah, but I mean, I always tell them, it looks like an apple cut, but which you rather, your lights be out or your trees,
That's it.
Okay, so,
Okay.
anything else to come before utilities?
One more, I do have someone who turned in a speaker card, and I guess this would be in utilities. Mr. Michael Nichols, from Pitkin, Louisiana, would like to speak about CO2 hazard disposal sites effects on the Chico Aquifer. Mr. Nichols, just push the green button there. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Michael Nichols, yes. And I was going to tell you a little bit about myself. I wanted to say that it's nice to be back to Crowley. I started my natural resource career here about 40 years ago with USDA Soil Conservation Service, working for Mr. Jimmy Winston. And, you know, I went to McNeese and got smarted up, and, you know, I know that's debatable. And I went to LSU and got smarted up some even more, and I know that's even more debatable. But, you know, it's good to see that y'all are still as pleasant people as ever here in Crowley, and I really enjoy that about this town. I've been to meetings all over the state, council meetings, parish meetings, and to hear y'all laugh and laugh with y'all, that's really refreshing. And unfortunately, I'm here tonight to talk to y'all about a subject that's no laughing matter, and it's not very pleasant. We have this thing now that's, they call it, industry calls it, you know, it's carbon capture and storage. Well, we call it, you know, hazardous material, because you're taking carbon dioxide from the air that is, you know, 420 parts per million, or only 0.04% of the atmosphere, and you're compressing it, and then you're bringing, you know, millions and millions and millions, you know, 250 million metric tons of it, and injected it into the ground. You know, we're just y'all's neighbors to the north, and we all rely on the Chico Aquifer for our groundwater. And we're really concerned about how that's going to affect that. You know, when CO2 meets water, it forms carbonic acid. You know, that's sixth grade chemistry. It's very, very corrosive. And, you know, over time, you know, you could argue that CO2 is not going to hurt you and carbonic acid is not going to hurt you. You could make that argument, yeah, sure. But over time, it leaches the soils. And, you know, that chemical reaction, that causes the heavy metals to leach out. And that contaminates our water. And I'm a fourth-generation Louisianian. My grandpa and grandma raised me right over there in Pitkin, Louisiana. Okay, we had a truck crop farm, and we ran about 30 cows on range. I'm a very simple person. But, you know, my wife and I, we've been all over the world. This is our home, people. And that's why I'm here tonight to ask for y'all's help. It's bigger than us, this situation. You know, we really need to be concerned about this as Louisiana people. And I'm worried about my children. I'm worried about our children. I'm worried about our grandchildren. And we need to work together on this because, you know, they're saying, oh, and I'm not here to debate climate change because I'm a scientist, okay? There's never any such thing as settled science. I will tell you that. And I would be arrogant to stand here and tell you, and any individual would, that you have all the answers, I have all the answers. Because you're going to hear the climate change people argue that we have to do this, that 97% of the scientists say that it's settled scientists. Well, those other 3 scientists that they're leaving out, they could prove them wrong in any moment. And I'm not sure that we are, I guess my scientific viewpoint is I don't think we're contributing 100% to the warming. You know, there's water vapor, there's a lot of other things besides CO2 that affects that. And I won't get into all that tonight. I really want to tell y'all about what's being planned. We have what's called a Class 5 well. They're permitted. They've drilled the stratigraphic wells, the test wells, to do this. That's how far this had advanced. And without the people of the state really knowing what's going on, it's progressed that far. The next step is to Class 6 wells to start injecting this, you know, build the CO2 pipelines. And please read about Satarsha, Mississippi, and what happened there. Please read about the events across the world. CO2 is very heavy. It's not like natural gas. Natural gas, when you have a leak, it goes up, it disperses. CO2 comes down. So there's been a lot of things said right now by the nicest way I can put it. Remember, we're very pleasant people. I'm glad to see that. By unscientific people. That's the best way I know to describe them. You know, they're saying all these things, and they don't even understand the carbon cycle. You know, we've been capturing carbon, you know, planting trees through agricultural. I mean, all those things we've been doing for 40 years, I like to say that we've been capturing and sequestering carbon before it was cool. We know how to do it. We know how to do it, cost effective. But this method that's being proposed where you take CO2 out of the air, it's being funded by our tax dollars fully, 100%, our federal tax dollars. And it's going to cost our grandchildren, if we allow this to proceed unchecked, trillions and trillions of dollars.
Okay, Mr. Nichols, not to interrupt, but what is it that you would like this council to do?
Well, I would like to y'all to become informed of this,
Okay.
you know, more informed, and I will feed y'all information, because if we don't work together and we try to, and, you know, we just let this proceed and not to develop a plan and let Baton Rouge tell us exactly how to do this, I'm afraid that's going to be a very bad outcome for the people of our state.
Okay, well, let me ask this question. Well, can you get the information to the mayor, and he can get it?
Yeah, I'll send it out to y'all.
Sure.
If you want to email me information, I can send it out to the
Sure.
council.
I appreciate that,
That'll
man.
educate them.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll feed all the information that you need.
Thank you, sir.
And, you know, I'm trying to get the information out there because the people really don't know of the state, how far advanced this is, and the potential hazards. And that's what I'm doing. I'm not here as a government employee. I'm here as a fourth generation Louisianian concerned about my
Okay.
people.
Thank you.
And that's why I'm here.
Well, thank you for your time and all that you do. I just learned something about CO2. Okay? Appreciate you, man. Have a blessed one.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anything else to come before utilities? Well, we're gonna recess.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Let's see, Recreation, Alderman Ashby, please.
I'll call the Recreation Committee to order, and we do have a quorum. First up for reports is Recreation Director Zach Duyong.
Good evening, everyone. So we're getting rolling, hitting the ground running. Our basketball season is coming to an end in 2 weeks, and baseball and softball registration ends on Sunday. As of now, we have 331 kids who are registered for both baseball and softball. That's all ages. Last year we had 412, but in that 412 we had 135 who registered in the last 48 hours. So if that happens again, we'll be looking at about 460, which is an increase of 50 kids. So like I said, the registration ends on the 16th, and then practices will start that first week of March 10th. And our opening day for everyone of all ages, every sport, every group will be on April 5th. It's a Saturday. As of now, we do currently have our middle school baseball and softball games going on. We have 34 total teams from 6 different parishes. So there's a lot of teams who are traveling. That's 2 games per field each night. We've got 4 fields, 4 nights a week. So it's a lot of games going on. I was looking at my text controls on my lights, and every single field and both tennis courts were lit up last night. So it's getting into a very busy time, but it's also very exciting. That being said, high school baseball began yesterday. On Friday and on Saturday, Notre Dame will be having a tournament all day Saturday, and in the evening on Friday, we'll have LSUE having 4 games on Fizo Saturday, and then they have Miller on Sunday, and 2D will be in town on Saturday and Sunday using 8 fields. 7 fields Saturday, 8 fields on the Sunday. So all 9 fields will be utilized Friday, Saturday, and Sunday this weekend moving forward until August. Every weekend we have booked up. Getting back into recreation baseball, we're going to have the evaluations that last week of February, the 24th, 25th, and 26th for baseball and softball. And we'll be putting all of this information on Facebook, and then beginning with Mr. Steve, probably good to get with you. We can put that in the newspaper as well.
Zach,
Yeah,
explain evaluation.
So the evaluation process, we have kids from ages 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 and 14. We break them off into their different divisions. We'll have either JMU players or coaches who are not affiliated with those players. They go and watch the kids throw, hit, run, and they evaluate them on a scale of 1 to 5. So that way when the draft occurs, if Step was the best player out there, he was a 1. He was a 1. You want to draft a 1 first. So it gives the coaches kind of a gauge. Correct. So they'll go out there and have an evaluation so that they have an idea, the coaches have an idea of the talent level whenever they're drafting the kids. If it's not, if it's a kid that they don't know, like I said, we've got 331 right now. We had 412 last year, 67, well, it's T-ball, so it doesn't have to do with evaluations. But like our Pinto boys last year, we had 112 and coach pitch. And so a lot of these kids are coming up, they've been playing T-ball, now we get a chance to see how well they hit, how well they field, how well they run, how well they throw. And so it gives those coaches an idea of where they're at talent-wise.
I understood you to say that the parks are gonna be, placed or what have you, till whatever time. At one time, Crowley used to be the place where we used to throw tournaments. We used to rent the parks or what have you and have tournaments. Over in West Crowley, they have people that wants to start a little softball league, just between, it got to be nothing official, but.
Sure.
And they asked the question, could they use the field? And at the time, I told them to call, they're supposed to have gotten in touch with you. The reason why I'm asking, is there any way that y'all can probably, what we call, make the field, whether, we take the grass out the infield or what have you, make it proper for, just to go out there and play softball or what have you?
Sure. So of the 9 fields that we have, 2 are high school regulation baseball fields. 2 of them are 180 feet from left field, center field, all the way to right field. It's 180 feet. And then we have 6 of them that are, or 5 of them, excuse me, that are 200 feet. And that's regulation high school and college softball.
Okay.
So of the fields that we have, 6 of the 9 would be feasible to be able to use something like that.
Well, I'm talking about the one in West Crowley. That is not being used, right?
You're talking about at the baseball field at the MLK Center?
Yeah.
Yes, that's not being utilized at all.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Can it be updated to where they can go? I understand there's no lights, because when I spoke to the guy, he'd asked if I was still swinging bats. I said, no, the only bats I'm swinging is the one frying. But he wants to do this on weekends. Like they have the kickball tournaments and all this stuff. People are starting to get out now. Okay. Is there any way, like I said, cutting the grass and make it, just spruce it up so they can go play at their own leisure?
Absolutely.
If you can do that, I'd appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So probably about, I want to say it was October.
Right.
October, September. My employees went out there a couple days at a time, and everything that was on those, on the fences, cleared that out, cleared out everything underneath the bleachers, put new bases out there,
Okay.
Cleaned up the dugouts. So all of that's been maintained. The grass would be the only thing. I mean, we'll be cutting that, like Wes was saying. We're cutting around the complex yesterday.
Okay.
So with the rain that's coming down now, we'll be cutting MLK late week or early next week. But we can go out there and we have paint. We can paint lines. I don't mind going out there and doing that myself too. I'd love to see that space be utilized.
Right. And don't forget the walking track now. We got
Yes, sir.
to find a way. You got to make it happen, man. I'm pretty sure these ladies, they would love to have walking tracks right behind the center.
Oh yeah.
Since we lighted it up, it looks good out there.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Speaking of the track, made me think of parks. We do have some park projects that are ongoing, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself because I know it's on the discussion item. But that's one that y'all are going to hear about here in a minute. The Crowley Accessibility Support for the Handicap Board. I believe both of the founders are here, and some board members here to discuss the ongoings and their project ideas.
Anybody has anything else for Zach?
Yes, sir.
Zach, at the Mustang ballpark parking lot, There used to be a sign at the gate entrance showing the rules and regulations of the ballpark itself. You know, skateboards, riding bikes, different
Yes,
things
sir.
like that. There's nothing there now. I walk out there just about every day, and I notice there's nothing there. The only sign that's on the fence now is the flag football notification sign, so,
That's by Field 3,
yes.
by the Bronco
Yeah.
concessions and everything?
Well, it's actually at the last ballpark by Bayou Blanc, the parking lot,
He's talking about Mustang Road.
Mustang Road.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes. We have 2 more signs that are coming in, because we put those at Henskins, Miller, Fizos, and by Bronco. But yes, sir, we do have those signs missing, so, but that is being taken care of. I appreciate that.
Zach, Levy Park Tennis Court, the windscreen and fixing the chain link fence at the bottom to keep the balls, has anything been moving on that yet?
No, sir, I haven't heard back from that fencing company because we'd have to readjust the fence to be able to hold the weight of the windscreen. So we would have to look at restructuring the fence first, or, you know, we'd have to get a stronger material to be able to hold the weight of that.
Okay.
Because that is a taller fence. But I hadn't heard back from them, but I'll make sure to reach back out.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions?
And who emptied the trash cans in the park? Is that your department or is it public
Street
works?
So
Department.
street
Okay,
department.
well,
but
I've
we
been
do-
getting a lot of complaints about, we call it the Catholic Park, St. Teresa Park. Okay,
And it's something that if if our guys go out there and we're looking at
Right.
playground equipment and we see that it's full, we'll empty them and refill them. You know, not refill them, but rebag them. So I don't mind if y'all give me a call about that.
well, I mean, if you
Either-
could
either
pass by
Wes or
that,
I.
especially on Mondays and Fridays.
I'm not sure that the trash cans are full. They're
Well,
just throwing it on the ground over there, and they sitting
Well,
around there
right.
with the trash around them on the benches, and they just, the people that are sitting out there are not putting the trash in the trash cans is the problem. We got extra trash cans from the state, from Keep Louisiana Beautiful, and that's one of the parks we put those extra trash cans in, but they just don't put the trash in the trash can. I don't think that they're full. Because they do, Wesley, how often do they pass around to dump trash cans at the parks? Every Friday. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions for Zach? Thank you, Zach.
Thank y'all.
Next up, City Engineer Tim Mater.
Yeah, you're very fortunate this evening. I have no action items. I don't even have any updates for the Recreation Committees.
I'd have fell out my chair if you would have.
Yeah, you're all very welcome to, by the way.
Under action items, we have nothing, and discussion items. The Crowley Accessibility Support of the Handicap Board would like to present plans for a handicap accessible playground. Come on up, it's yours.
And Chuck, while they're doing that, I don't know if y'all know it, but US SSSA softball, we had 2 professionals over here, and they're still here in Crowley. Chester Spencer and the guy we call Rookie, they traveled all over, man. We used to travel with them. You know, we were young blood, that's what we call our team. But they're professionals, and that's who wants to bring it back to Crowley, man. Give people something to do.
All right, Rich, it's yours.
It's like deja vu all over again. Some of you won't be, probably aren't aware of the organization that Leah and myself started about 2.5 years ago, which is CASH, Crowley Accessibility Support for the Handicapped. And some of you are aware of us. We've done 2 projects with the city so far, one being the ramp with Rotary and the city putting in the sidewalk all going up to the Veterans Memorial. And then the second one being the ramp and the sidewalk going to the pavilions at MLK Center. This project that we started on about 2 years ago, it kind of fell apart after we got shot down for a grant, and the city didn't have the money to do anything, so we kind of put it in the back burner. And then the burner got turned off kind of as things go. But being with the skate park thing, and Barry Trahan and I were talking about it. Next thing you know, Tony Crater's talking about it, and this thing got revitalized, but just not revitalized. We have 11 people on our board right now. We have people that are in contact with the governor's office. We're not going to, they're not going to say we're not going to, but we're going to first try to do this without any grants. And there's a lot of local people that are interested in doing it. You can see on the map that I handed out, that's the location that the mayor and I walked off, and it's a pretty good size area. It's going to be an expensive project. It's probably going to run at least $100,000 if we get everything that we want. But it's going to be.
Our wish list is very large.
Yeah. But it's going to be inclusive of also autistic children, so they can participate too. And the thing that got everyone, broke their hearts, is we were talking to this one lady who has children, and one of the children is disabled. And she would she stopped going to the parks because she would bring all her kids there, and the disabled child would have to sit there and watch everyone play. And if that doesn't break your heart. So anyway, as Leah and I talked about it, we decided to do this project. We're in the beginning stages of it right now. We really don't know how much money it's going to cost. We do have a footprint, like you can see, and now we have a wish list that we're working on. We should have that together by the end of the week. Once that happens, we're going to get a rendering, and then we're going to go out and do our fundraising. But we felt it was necessary to tell everyone on council about what we're up to. And working with Zach, Tess is on the board. There's like a lot of involvement in different areas of the city, you know. So that's about it. But if you have any questions, please ask.
So you're going to start with Levi Park first?
That's
the first?
That's the only plan we have right now for it. We can expand from there, but this is a pretty expensive thing to do. And,
Right.
you know, we're just trying to, we thought about other areas and stuff, and it just like, it's not financially feasible right now. But,
One project at a time.
right.
Yeah,
As once Levy Park is done and we get the experience that we need by putting forth the effort, you don't know, I don't know.
so you,
I would love to have multiple locations for accessible equipment all over Crowley, but this is just project number one for us.
okay, so basically Levi Park will be like a template that y'all can.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That's where our learning curve starts.
Right, okay, thank you.
Sorry in advance.
Rich, I have a question. Do you have you identified some of the elements that would go in this park?
That's what we're in the process of right now. It's definitely going to be, one thing is going to be a swing set, one that you would wheel up into, and another that would be a cradle. And that cradle would be for really, you know, very severe cases. We might have more than just those two swings, but those two swings, believe it or not, without installation, without anything, $7,000.
How many elements can you get in this space?
We're actually,
I could take the lead on that. So I started doing a few renderings in that specific area, getting the square footage, for that 5,600 square foot. I'd say at least a 4-set swing. There's a large playground area that can be fit in there, as well as, what did we want?
Merry-go-round
Oh,
that holds a
merry-go-round.
wheelchair and
Yeah.
just a regular child can sit. It doesn't have to be just the wheelchair. So if it's a sister and brother or two siblings, they can actually be on the merry-go-round
And these
together.
elements are specifically designed to be accessible by those in needs?
Correct.
Wheelchair
ADA
accessible,
accessible.
any disability. We've been visiting many
Yeah, Gerard Park's one.
Lafayette,
Park, the
Youngsville.
Youngsville complex has a really nice one.
We personally have been to that Youngsville one.
Yeah,
I
they've got
understand
a
it's
thousand
really great.
pictures, though.
Do you presently
Somebody
have
took a field
some
trip.
groups that are willing to step forward to be sponsors to help you with the launch on this?
Well, that's we're going to be working at. The reason why we're here right now is we just want to get the word out. And then
Okay.
from that point, we do have certain
So
people
you're
that we're
mapping
gonna-
it out, you're in the works and,
Right.
and
We
everything.
would love to have a rendering done
Mm-hmm.
of, after we pick out the equipment, rendering done, so people can see it and understand what we're trying to do.
It sounds wonderful.
It
Thank you
does.
all very much. And anything we can do to
Come up
help
with
it.
$100,000.
All right, I'm getting to work on that right away. I'll sell something.
Rich, what type of surfacing will the area be within that 80 by 70 feet?
I'm sorry, say that again?
The surfacing that's
Oh,
planned.
that's where the major cost comes in. And we're probably leaning towards a poured rubber thing that's got to have like 3 inches of pea gravel underneath it. And I forgot to mention this. We all have a very, really good guy that's living in the city, and Ed Habits. And Ed is willing to do whatever it takes to make this happen. So,
If you need some help with some renderings, you can talk to Don Marks. He can help with the drafting.
oh yeah?
And he worked on the Saturn V spaceship mock-up, so I think he can draw a few things.
Yeah. I never
And if you
thought-
have an extra shovel, give it to Sandy, she'll help with that.
So the next-
I've got my own shovel. I'll bring it.
The next time we come here, we'll get something on an easel too,
Look,
you know?
Rich, I don't know if it was.
Rich. Rich.
Yeah. Well, whoever. I don't know if it was Mandeville, but we went to a mid-winter conference, and they had a walking track, and it was like 3 feet wide, and they had another one going around it that was 4 feet wide. And we asked the question. He said, "Well, this is for the handicapped." And we went out there, and they had, people in wheelchairs, and they didn't interfere with, the walks. And I don't know if that's what y'all are looking to do.
Well, that's the thing with, it's very expensive. Actually, just for the area under this, the swing set, which is only like 2 swings, right? That was the major expense. It was $20,000 just for the flooring situation, because it has to meet a ADA requirement of an 8-foot fall. So,
And then that 8 feet fall has to be so far in distance. I mean, when you're thinking about a swing, the kid flies off. So it's not only just under the swing, it's expanded beyond. So there's a lot involved with ADA, but we're willing to do all the work.
and she's a graphic designer, so that kind of helps too.
That's great.
And we also have he's like a liaison, I guess you would call him, an architect who's willing to do all whatever he has to do for free. So, we're going for freebies. Anyone know anyone? Good.
Rich, I want to thank you all for taking this on. Obviously, it's something that will our handicapped citizens or our citizens who have handicapped family members will enjoy. Obviously, you've done your homework because you're choosing the park that is most used by most people throughout this entire city. There are people from all over this city that go to that park and utilize that park. If for nothing else, just to sit there and picnic. There's birthday parties in that park. There's tons of activity in that one park from people throughout the city. And so I'm confident that it's a great place to have that feature there. And while I understand Mr. Martin's ask on if that's the only park, I'm not sure that many cities our size have more than one park with a feature of that sort. So you know, it's a very expensive endeavor, a very expensive feature, and y'all are really putting the effort forward to make it happen and pulling in all the forces.
There isn't a park in the entire parish.
No, you have to drive to Lafayette.
Yeah.
Correct. So we'll have a great thing if y'all can when you'll pull it off. Not if, when
That's
you
right.
all pull it off. So thank y'all for those efforts.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Asked about the surface material, so I called around to a couple different companies. Kincaid is who we've replaced some of our park equipment with, our playground equipment. That surface, while it is a little bit more on the expensive side, rather than rubber mulch or your regular mulch, it's also not exactly, it's ADA compliant because of the safety, but very difficult to roll a wheelchair on. It's very difficult to walk on, so.
And that's what I was thinking about.
Kids with cerebral palsy, if they have a foot or
Yes.
something like that, it's very difficult. But through Kincaid, that surface also comes with a 15-year warranty. So it is durable and it is for a longer period of time.
Sure.
So, and that's not the only playground equipment business that we've looked at. And then Ms. Sandy, to further explain your question about inclusive equipment. So the idea is for anybody who's handicapped or disabled to be included, to not be excluded. Kind of like Rich was saying with the story about the mom with two different kids.
Right, I think it's wonderful. I think make a big wish list.
Well, and so
This
the
is,
idea is on those swings, you can have a wheelchair and then you can have someone who's not disabled swinging as well. The playground equipment, that would be the larger slides and swings and, what's it called when you walk across? I'm losing my train of thought. But it's for everybody to be included in that as well.
that's wonderful. Thank you all so much for taking on this. Yeah, that's great.
Zach recently got involved with this group. They asked if, Rich called me and asked if he could reach out to Zach and ask for Zach's help. And I said, well, certainly. I said, I know Zach would like to be able to help also. So Zach has been, oh, he's a board member now. Thank y'all. Listen, I don't want to get too sappy or personal, but I would like to ask you all to also keep Rich in your prayers. Rich is dealing with some health issues, and so he could certainly use some prayers. So some extra prayers, yes. Chuck.
Anybody else has anything for the Recreation Committee? Recreation Committee will recess.
Thank you, sir. Zoning annexation, Alderman Reggie, please.
Thank you. I'll open up zoning annexation. I do have a quorum. Mr. Mater for a report.
Yeah, just let me ask you to look on your own time later. On page 18, I have updates on what's going on out at VFW Drive, the infrastructure improvements that the city is involved with there, but no action items.
Thank you, sir. Okay, under action items, number 1, re-subdivide process showing track B-1 located at section 3 T10SR1E in the city of Crowley, Acadia Parish, and I so move. Mr. Martin, second. Discussion would be, do you have it in your packet? Do you have a packet? That's all right. I guess my question is to the, so are they trying to split this and use the road and give the road to the city?
I think what's happening, and I don't know, Tim, do you know any details of this? I think what's happening is, so we're going to have another dollar store in our city. And so this, across from Southside Kitchen, the big white house that's set way back is the property in question. And then the gravel road, which is LaGrange Street, is a private road. The gravel road goes from Eastern and it makes a curve back to Elm. And then there's all the smaller rental property that goes back to Elm along Eastern. I think what they're wanting to do is re-subdivide and take in the road to include the tract A on the second picture. If you look at the second picture, where it says tract A, commercial residential, 0.74 acres. And then the thick dark line that's just to the north of LaGrange Street, I think they want to move that line south of LaGrange Street, and so that private road would be taken up by the property on the north side there. And then you wouldn't be able to access, LaGrange Street would no longer be there. But it's a private road easement anyway within that property, those property owners. And so there's nothing that the city needs to do for that to be done. We just have to approve the re-subdivide of the property.
Okay. So are they gonna tear the house down and put the thing there?
I don't know how much I'm supposed to say about all that, but yes, that house is supposed to be gone.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You say it's gonna be another dollar store? What they gonna name this one, the Dollar Admiral, or what the hell? I mean, we got the Dollar General?
Yes.
This gonna make what, $4 store?
Yes, sir.
How the hell the dollar get spread that much, man? That's what I'm saying.
Hey, look, that's just, Ms. Martin, that's just like the coffee shops and any other free enterprise. We're not here to tell them that their business is gonna make it or not. We welcome businesses to our business district and our commercial district, and pray to God that they get the support they need.
So theoretically, if we do this, the road still wouldn't be the city's road, it'd still be their road.
It currently, it will not become city property at all. None of that is gonna become city property.
Okay.
They just want, no, the city doesn't maintain it now. It's all private gravel road.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All righty. And then number 2, no action items presently from Mr. Tim Mader. I have no discussion items. Anything else for zoning? I will recess.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, what's next? Public Safety, Alderman Core.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to open the Public Safety Committee meeting. All members are present, so we have a quorum. And we'll begin with our first report from Chief of Police Troy Hebert.
We've been a little quiet in January. Our office answered a total of 724 calls. We issued 85 traffic violations, and our traffic enforcement detail, they issued 691. We had total arrests, 42. That pretty much ends my report.
Any questions for Chief regarding his report? All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We'll move on next to the report from Fire Chief Louis Romero. And I think he also provided us with a copy of his report.
Good evening. So, January was busy for us. We ran 69 total calls. Our average response time was 2 minutes and 49 seconds. Of those calls, we had 3 hazardous conditions, 36 EMS, 11 false alarms, 5 structure fires, 6 good intent calls, and 8 service calls. Give an update. I got a phone call today. One of the fire trucks made it to Port Arthur last week. Friday morning between 7 and 9. They're going to be passing through the city. And they're going to stop by the Central Fire Station to take some pictures. probably in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna take delivery of them. South Crowley is almost complete. They got a couple other things they have to finish doing, and then we're gonna move them back in there. They broke ground on North Crowley for the addition, and then once we get South Crowley back in that station, I think we're going to move North Crowley to Central, and we're gonna gut the inside of North Crowley and redo that one. And that's we're gonna use up pretty much all of the $600,000 grant, and then we're gonna use about $10,000-15,000 from my budget. The training grounds, we have some work to do over there. We're working on the rating packet. I'm gonna file for an extension, just with everything going on, getting the trucks, the ice storm. I don't wanna rush it. I wanna make sure we do everything right. So any questions?
You said that the truck that we bought or buying is gonna be in Port Arthur?
It's going to Port Arthur so we can do final inspection before they deliver it here.
They driving that truck from Florida to Port Arthur?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess the question I have is when does the mileage, does it start when, let's just say they put 4,000 miles on it, and you get 100,000 miles warranty or what have you. It starts at the 4,000 and go to 100,000 folks?
No. We never going to meet the mileage for a warranty. We got 17, 18-year-old trucks right now that got 35,000 miles.
Chief, but I understand, but I don't think you listening.
Mr. Martin, I think I can answer that for you. So buying a fire truck, although it's almost $700,000 for these, today if we purchase one, they're $1.2 million for the same truck. But although they're more expensive than a regular vehicle, we went to the manufacturer in Florida, the warehouse where they actually produced the truck. The dealership who sold us the trucks is in Port Arthur. And so the dealership, the manufacturer is going to ship the fire truck to Port Arthur, to the dealership. Now, they're going to ship it by way of a driver because the size of fire trucks. But just like any other vehicle, you buy a car or a truck. The chief and I used to do it for the dealerships. You know, if you say, I want this truck, they find you this specific car or truck, maybe in Oklahoma. They'll send a driver to Oklahoma to go pick that one vehicle up, and they drive it back. But your warranty starts with the mileage that's there as if it's a zero. Let's say it's 4,000. Your warranty starts, and they give you 100,000 miles, then it's 104,000 miles
Well,
is
that's
what
what
your
I asked.
warranty is.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean, same
so,
thing I asked.
yes, sir. So it's not, it's gonna, whatever is done, it's gonna start from that point and give you whatever the mileage is from that point, the full,
Right.
the full warranty.
Yeah,
So-
that's pretty much what I'd asked.
and another thing, by them driving it, is gonna be 7, 8, 900, they're gonna have over 1,000 miles when it gets here. They found an issue on the first truck from over here back. So guess what? When we get the truck in service, that issue's already been taken care of. Then placing a new truck in service, and then we don't have another truck to replace that truck with.
Yeah, all good.
Any questions?
Anything else for Chief? Thank you, Chief. Next, we move to City Inspector Tony Duhon, and I don't think Mr. Duhon is present.
No.
So we will move on to action items, and believe it or not, there are no action items for public safety, which I think is a record. Next, we'll move on to discussion items. We've already discussed,
That
I
was
think,
done. Yep.
street lights in Ward 3 Is any other business to come before the committee or any comments from the public? Then we recess.
Thank you, sir. Public Buildings, Alderman Wilridge, please.
Good evening. Public Buildings convened February 10, 2025 at 5 p.m. in the council chambers. We had a quorum. Under action items, to approve application for payment number 3 to Prestige Construction Group LLC for Parks and Pavilion Project Crowley in the estimated amount of $44,650. And I so move. Second by Jeff Dory. All in favor? Nays, you have the same right. Motion carried. On discussion items, there was none. So there being no further business for public buildings, we reset, sir.
Thank you, sir. Insurance and Personnel, Alderwoman Marks, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The Insurance and Personnel Committee convenes. We do have a quorum, and at this time, there are no reports or action items. Is there any discussion on insurance and personnel? Any discussion? No further business to come before it, and the committee rests.
Thank you, ma'am. Revenue and Finance, Alderman Lachele, please.
Thank you, Mayor. The Revenue Finance Committee convenes. We have a quorum present with all members present. We have no reports to be read. On action items, we have none. Under discussion items, we have none. Is there any comments for the committee? With that, the committee recess.